they were really hounding me and sweating me on money, and I didn't have it, so I panicked, and I ended up doing like 6 hits of acid or something. I've never done acid before, and uh, honestly, I don't remember half of the things that went on. Like there's days where it was morning time, and all of a sudden I black out and it's night, you know. So it just
And we might go into that a little bit more, but I did want to note that I show on November 5th that you officers were at the airport, that you were driving around, it appears, that you were later involved in an accident, hitting another vehicle, that you were observed swinging a screwdriver and yelling at people. I mean, obviously, this is pretty concerning behavior, driving the wrong way near the airport, obviously puts everybody at risk. And then
hence the acid part. What I was trying to explain, I spaced out. The screwdriver thing, I didn't even remember. I don't even remember that happening. Uh, so it was a very out of character, you know.
Okay, buckle up, everybody. It's another insane Utah parole hearing. He was only on parole something like 8 days before he got revoked again. As a matter of fact, in the past 10 years, he has only had a total combined of 60 days of being out on parole, and he has had dozens of chances because Utah, this is basically an epidemic. We see this so often where those get paroled and revoked. It happens so often that it's almost not even an event. We just don't even cover it that much because of the flow of how many hearings there are. But this one caught my attention, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention. So with that, let's jump in.
So, going over your last parole, I show it was 9 days, right? So that's really short.
Right.
Kind of tell me why you think it was such a short parole and what did not go well, or maybe you think something did go well. But why was it such a short parole?
I honestly feel like it was such a short parole because when I got out, I went to a sober living, and I got in there with no money, explaining to them that there should be a grant payer, they should pay for it. And they were explaining to me that payer only is in effect if you get it after a month. So if I leave at any time prior to that, they don't get the money. So they were really hounding me and sweating me on money, and I didn't have it. So I panicked, and I ended up doing like 6 hits of acid or something. I've never done acid before. And uh, honestly, I don't remember half of the things that went on. Like there's days where it was morning time, and all of a sudden I black out and it's night, you know? So it just wasn't a good parole. I I just pretty much couldn't get the money to pay for that, and I stressed out, and so I just went back to criminal activity.
And we might go into that a little bit more, but I did want to note that I show on November 5th that you officers were at the airport, that you were driving around, it appears, that you were later involved in an accident, hitting another vehicle, that you were observed swinging a screwdriver and yelling at people. I mean, obviously, this is pretty concerning behavior, driving the wrong way near the airport, obviously puts everybody at risk. And then
Hence the acid part. What I was trying to explain, I spaced out. The screwdriver thing, I didn't even remember. I don't even remember that happening. So it was a very out of character, you know.
So, do you contribute your actions to substance use?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, so, and you're talking about stress, right? And I don't want to downplay the stress that you had on your last parole, but I'm guessing, everybody has stress, right? And I'm guessing in the future you're going to have some stress.
Right.
And it sounds like you coped with that stress by using substances, which then became a public safety concern. So how is that the same or different moving forward?
Okay, so the prior times I paroled, I made it 60 days, 2 months while working at the halfway house, doing somewhat well, but Yeah, I mean, substance abuse, I just, it has a way of bringing me back, you know? That is an issue for sure. One thing I want to point out is like, for 10 years, I've been in and out of jail and prison. And ever since I've been on probation and parole, I've never made it past 60 days. So like this time going forward, um, I either want to get into a rehab and start for it. Like if I have some sort of structure around me, I can do good, you know? It seems like I do far better if I have structure around me and things like that. And not only that, I don't have a motivation of being an active gang member anymore. Uh, that's one of the main reasons I dropped out is I'm not trying to continue to have criminal activity in my life, you know? I'm trying to separate myself from that.
So you're talking about being sober, you're talking about leaving your gang, and some of this stuff sounds like it's pretty recent, right? It's changed. So why do you think you're having this change?
I'm at a point in my life where I'm just over it. I'm tired of this lifestyle. Tired of this lifestyle. I'm tired of coming back here, and I believe that in order to move forward doing good, I have to separate myself from all the people, places, and things that I used to associate myself with, you know? Um,
Sounds like you've thought about it, which is good.
yeah, I really want to get out of state, to be honest, to totally get away from,
Where would you like to go?
my mom lives in Montana, so I would either try and go back to Montana or to Colorado. So my the first time I came to prison, I terminated and I went to Montana and I stayed out of prison for 6 years. Well, where I messed up is I came back. And so now if I leave, I'm never coming back. Like there's nothing here for me. My mom is the only person in my life and she lives in Montana.
Okay.
So
So have you thought about an interstate compact or?
yeah, I definitely have, but uh, I really have nowhere to go out there. So I feel like the only way to get out there is I'd have to go out there and be homeless first, you know? Uh, I don't know if there's any ways I can get into sober living or something out there without money, but
Okay. It sounds like you have some goals. It sounds like maybe saving up for it. And then maybe heading out there. Maybe that's something you've thought about. Is that
well, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go out there for sure.
Okay.
I want to leave the state, but
all right, sir? And so you're talking about sober living, and in your board packet, you said that you'd like to go a rehab if you were released. Where specifically would you like to go?
uh, there's a few of them I would be applying to. There's Epic, um, heard of First Step, uh, Castle Ridge, and that's just a few. I'd be applying for all of them really until I got accepted. So
Any in particular reason why? Any one program you'd like to go to? Have you tried these programs before?
no, I've just heard about them, and I heard people have stayed out for like 18 months at a time, and they said the whole reason that they made it that far is because they went to rehab. You know, I think Epic would be one of the main ones I'd want to go to.
Okay. Anything else you see moving forward, goals that you have or treatment that you think would help you on parole?
Um, I just know rehab would be beneficial to stay off of drugs. The other two times I paroled, the first thing I did is I went out and got a job and I was working. I was doing all right, you know. Uh, it seems like when I work, I do pretty well, and I want to put myself in a safe environment. If I went to a rehab, you know.
Do you have any idea for employment then? It sounds like you're talking about work.
I can, so I'll just go to a temp service right when I get out and get a job fast because that's what I've done every time, and it's been I don't even need to take what's it called. I don't even what's it called, an interview. I don't even need an interview. I could go in and apply and have the job the first day, you know.
Okay.
So I'll do that just to get on my feet, and well, I'm certified in bricklaying and stuff like that. So after I maintain employment somewhere, I can go work on going somewhere better, you know, but
Okay.
temp services tend to pay pretty well, so.
Good. All right, so those are all of my questions. From here, I'm a hearing officer. I make recommendations. The board ultimately decides. They're made up of 5 members. 3 of them have to come to one decision. That's the decision of the board. You should get that in writing within 2 to 4 weeks. Your family members, your friends, anyone listening to this hearing via video can go to bop.utah.gov. As soon as we have the decision, we post it on our website. It still takes some time. It's not immediate, but the website's faster than the mail. So just so you know, I note your guideline, sir, is 16 months or March 10th, 2024. That's obviously passed. The board can obviously go above that date. This is just a suggestion is the best way to think of it. So the expiration of your sentence, meaning the longest time the board could have jurisdiction over you, assuming no other offenses, is March 10th, 2028. Do you have any closing comments or questions for myself or for the board?
Okay, so I have a question. So, I mean, everything was ran concurrent, right? So, now, so like, well, 4 years is consecutive?
So are you asking about your expiration date or your guideline?
My expiration, like,
Does it not sound correct? Is that what you're saying?
well, I mean, it does sound correct. I just don't understand if something's concurrent, why like, the majority of it is consecutive. Does that make sense?
I'm not quite sure. If you think there's an issue with your guideline or your expiration,
No, I don't have an issue with it. I'm just questioning how that works. Like, if it's ran concurrent, it's, okay, so I'm about to expirate this 0 to 5 I'm on, theft of a vehicle, right? And
I don't have the dates in front of me for that exact one, but
yeah, so I'm about to expirate that in February. And then this new 0 to 5 is ran concurrent, credit for time served. But I think like the expiration is like 28.
and that's what I show.
So,
If you have any questions about that date or think that anything is in any way calculated incorrectly, to write the board, we have a whole department, they'll write you back about whether it's correct or wrong. And I can make note of that.
well, I
but-
don't think it's wrong. I just am trying to
Understand.
understand, like, it, if it was concurrent, why they can't run concurrent, why so much time on the back, because that's not concurrent, that's consecutive, you know?
So like I said, I even just an explanation, you are welcome to write the board and we can give you a response on that, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, so I would be really thankful for a parole, you know, but I'm just wondering if there's any way it could be looked at of whether or not, I'm thinking it's too early to ask for a termination, but I'm just curious to if this is gonna continue to be me getting out and coming back, just because in the past I've only made it out 60 days in 10 years on probation or parole, you know? I'm definitely willing to give it another try and do my best to stay out, but it's
It sounds like it's something you were requesting the board to consider. Is that right?
just consider, yeah, I mean, to look at.
Yeah, once again, I make recommendations, the board ultimately decides, but I can make note that's something you would request. It sounds like you want to get to Montana and that might make it easier. So I don't know what the board will do, but I can make note that's what you're requesting, okay?
Right, and can you also make note that, like, I would be really thankful for a parole too, you know, like, I'm not,
You're not refusing parole.
yeah, I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, like
I'd
I
be
said,
thankful for either or, you know?
okay. Well, I've made notes of everything you've said today. I appreciate you coming to this hearing. We'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think the great state of Utah in all their wisdom did? They granted parole. As a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, unless he got revoked again, our records show he hasn't. He has been walking free for 1 full day. I'm recording this March 12th of 2025. They granted effective March 11th of 2025. Now, it was released on completing a program. Let's see, CBT, case action plan. He needed to complete a case action plan. All recommended cognitive behavioral classes available. I mean, it's nothing. There's not. I don't see it. Basically, he needs to have somewhere to go. This is parole violation. This is your third or subsequent parole during this commitment. This is his third parole try. His allegations from November 5th, 2022, stolen vehicle, violation of condition, gang agreement. I mean, what if it's not a gang agreement? You could just steal vehicles then? By having failed truthful law enforcement officers, by having contact law enforcement officers. This one, I guess here's another one. He was convicted of violation court order, theft of a firearm. Wow. You know, these were crimes they didn't even talk about, right? Look, it just goes on and on and on. His whole record here. This is crazy. This is just, it's just nuts. Like, what about this man do you think that he is ready to go out on parole? There is nothing. This is not about being harsh. This is not about, you know, oh man, dude, you don't want anyone to get out. This is about his best interest. If you want to say, where is your empathy? No, the empathy is for him. Is there anything that we saw on his record in the way he communicated, his maturity level, what he did? I was stressed, so I popped 6 things of acid, and then I don't know, I was just at the airport assaulting people. Woo! I mean, his full term date, it's not that far off. It's 2028. They could have said, you know what? I think let's hold you for a year and have a rehearing. Let's see if you can go without writing. Let's put you in a program where you can maybe learn a skill. Let's that could have been just 1 year. It could have been 2 years. You know, like there could have been enough, but to release him months after having his parole here, like revocation happen, it's crazy to me. Call me nuts. Call me, I don't know. I think most of you agree with me. I think that 99% of you probably agree with me. And that just adds the explanation point with the big, strong circle, red circle ball thing at the bottom of it, flashing lights saying that the Utah Parole Board, they are nuts. Now, you might say they are nuts, or it could be they have an agenda. The agenda is that they have full prisons. They don't know what to do. You know, we cover a lot. We cover Iowa, we cover Connecticut, we cover Illinois, we cover Utah. We have a new state coming. We've been covering it. I'm just waiting to publish it for you. We've covered Vermont. I don't know how many, what am I missing? And Utah's the worst. I mean, Utah, we do sometimes like 100 parole. I don't think I'm wrong. 100 parole. Let me show you. You want to see the spreadsheet that I always talk about that Sir Richard and Lady Holly pull for me? Let me show you. This is what we are getting for Utah today, March 12th. Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see a little bit of this. Here we go. This is what we're expecting on the docket today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go scoot down it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know how many was that. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And this is a short day. Oftentimes we have 2 dockets, so there's 40 a day. Let me show you, for example, you know, I could just go down the list. But normally they have Salt Lake and they have Gunnison. So they have hundreds of parole hearings every single day, and that just goes to show me like their system's messed up. Now it could have to do with a lot of things. There could be a lot of factors. They give out, you know, 100-year sentences like cotton candy, but it's 2 to 100 years, 1 to 100 years, 3 to 100 years, and they parole the 3rd year, and then the person gets revoked 6 months later, and then they get paroled again, and then they get revoked, and they get paroled. We see where people get revoked 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Okay, I'll get off my high horse.
They were really hounding me and sweating me on money, and I didn't have it, so I panicked, and I ended up doing like 6 hits of acid or something. I've never done acid before, and honestly, I don't remember half of the things that went on. Like there's days where it was morning time, and all of a sudden I black out and it's night, you know. So it just
And we might go into that a little bit more, but I did want to note that I show on November 5th that you officers were at the airport, that you were driving around, it appears, that you were later involved in an accident, hitting another vehicle, that you were observed swinging a screwdriver and yelling at people. I mean, obviously, this is pretty concerning behavior, driving the wrong way near the airport, obviously puts everybody at risk. And then
Hence
And-
the acid part, what I was trying to explain. I spaced out, the screwdriver thing, I didn't even remember. I don't even remember that happening. So it was a very out of character,